Today is July 4th, American independence in Abaco, Bahamas. Happy independence to all my Americans, friends, colleagues that didn't think about self but came to our aid immediately, especially the United States Coast Guard. While the wind was howling, we could hear the Coast Guard come to our rescue. September 2nd, the Americans and the British was the first one on the ground. Our defense force that lives in the Bahamas, they never came until after the Jamaicans. I don't know how the Jamaicans got on the airport in Abaco before the Bahamas government sent help. That is how it started. All foreigners was here before our law enforcement came to rescue us. Like, wow. And still today, the Americans are still on the ground when there's not a good report about our policemen and our defense force. They're being worse in most incidents than Hurricane Dorian. That is the Bahamas under this Prime Minister, the most honorable Hubert Minnis. He's a hurricane, category 7 within himself. And the way that he's handled the before and the aftermath, I blame this Prime Minister for every death, because under this authority, this competent authority that he called, he could have enacted this same competent authority to take Abaco, Grand Bahama, out of the storm way. Especially in Grand Bahama, where they have a $60 million hotel that the government just bought. They could have brought those persons in Grand Bahama out of the low-lying area and put them into our hotel that had air conditioning, generator, and were built stronger than the homes that were washed away during Hurricane Dorian and Grand Bahama. And you have 5 members of parliament in this useless, weightless F&M government that couldn't collectively get together and to bust those people into safety. They know that those hosts were not ready for hurricane. They know, because they're the members of parliament. They know that they were in a low-lying area and they let those people perish. How dare they come back up for re-election? That is why Kai Mills is running as the member of parliament for North Abaco. If I do nothing for 3 years, I've done as much as Darren Henfield has done. 10 months in, he has not sat down with the people of Abaco. You see, we are to blame, you know. We vote for colors. We don't vote for individuals. When are we going to wise up and put our best foot forward? In most places, what I've done, I should have been the members of parliament. I should have been the member of parliament a long time. In the Westminster system of government in England, if Darren Henfield wouldn't have spoken to his people in a month, he had to resign or he was forced out right away. The law would have said, you have to go. This 10 months in and he haven't spoke to us and told us what is priority. In his neighborhood of Grace Avenue, where the Henfields live, electricity poles, just the poles, are being erected 10 months in. This is immediate family. This is brother, sisters, and father live in Grace Avenue. No help, not even to his own siblings. What do you think about anybody else? The reason Kai is running is that I've always acted as the MP trying to help. My resume is impeccable. Nobody else can match. We have a lady that has the same resume as Darren Henfield, supposedly born in Abaco, never lived in Abaco in over 30 years, have never helped anybody in Abaco. You ask her, before Hurricane Dorian, which organization has she spearheaded and sponsored on behalf of Abaco? That's Darren Henfield there. Why do they think, why does she think that Abaco is so ignorant and Abaconians is so ignorant that you could give some hotel rooms and some plywood and you automatically become the member of parliament and go back to Nassau and ride around for 5 years? I think that Abaconians are not that stupid. They think that we're ignorant and idiots and asses to allow that to happen. I don't believe that Abaconians are asses and idiots to let nobody from Nassau or elsewhere come to run North Abaco when we have the talent enough to elect Hubert Ingram. Even Hubert Ingram disrespect Abaconians. He haven't lived among us in 40 years yet. I know he must be embarrassed, walk around with Darren Henfield and make a statement that he didn't know that Darren had political aspiration. Of course he didn't. He just showed us and look at us as a bunch of donkeys, and he ride us straight to the bank. He's still riding those F&M donkeys in North Abaco that if election were called today, they will still go to the poll and elect somebody that they haven't spoken to in 30 years, somebody that they haven't seen after Hurricane Dorian. But Kai Mills has been there for the 35 years that Darren has been missing. Kai is here during the time when this other so-called wannabe politician was saying that she will get the nomination. You may get the nomination, but one thing for sure, you need Abaco. Abaco don't need you. Get it right. If you get the nomination, you will never become a member of parliament for North Abaco, because Kai has been campaigning all his life. You have only came in there after the suffering, and you will not use our suffering to become the member of parliament. Have you ever organized and run a basketball association or softball association to try to help persons in Abaco, in North Abaco, to achieve a college education? And Kai could say and ask through the neighborhood, because you may not know, I have run the best organization in the history of Abaco. As chief counselor, more person was appreciated of me being chief counselor and chairman of Dundastan than anybody in the history of local government. I can be braggadocious about this one, baby. What has happened in Dundastan in the past 9 years since Kai was in chief counselor and chairman of Dundastan? What can they say they have achieved besides charging people for the stalls in the bar and signing their signatures on checks in somebody else's name? They're all supposed to be in jail. That is why Kai can speak. When last have you had somebody spoken on behalf of the people that had the most employment, Bakers Bay? Who has been there and sit down with the workers and say, are you happy of what's going on in Bakers Bay? Nobody cares, because they go sit down and say, write the check, put it in this bank. To hell with Abaco and Abaco workers. That is why the Mexicans are here. You send all of Bakers Bay home, pay them out. They built it. Why haven't they been invited to rebuild? You gotta start at the people that built Bakers Bay. They are the Bahamian workers. They should be the first to ask to come back to help rebuild a resort in their beloved Abaco. The Mexicans shouldn't be the first to come and rebuild Bakers Bay. Not only that, the Bahamians should also have a nice place to stay, should be getting food, all the perks that the Mexican is getting. Bahamians that are coming to help to rebuild Bakers Bay ought to get the same treatment in their beloved Bahamas. That is why Kai Mills, again, is running for North Abaco. Kai will be the spokesman for the people like now that can't speak for themselves. Kai will put his neck on the chopping block to make sure that North Abaco has a say at the table of decision making, and you would hear, see, and feel that Kai Mills would and is and will be at the table. You don't have to guess that Kai is speaking. You would hear and see that Kai cares. Vote for Kai and don't be shy. On this 4th day of July, happy independence. If it wasn't for America, where would we be? While the dumb, ignorant F&M government is creating Chinese and Mexicans, and they forgot to say God bless America. Well, I say it on behalf of this weightless, no good government. God bless America. Long may she stand. Kai cares. Happy independence to all my American colleagues.